Hello and a warm welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you the ultimate guide to remote project management in 2023. My name is Helena and thank you for joining me for today's video. If you like content about project management, Agile, or Scrum, please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. And without further ado, let's jump in now. Remote project management is a little bit like herding cats, and we all know that you can't really herd cats. Remote project management is similar to regular project management, except you are managing your team via long distance. So you're communicating with your team primarily through video conferencing and other digital collaboration tools. This can be a great way to coordinate across different time zones with all different types of people, but it also adds complexity to your management because you can't see what everyone is doing every single day. And you can't check up on them at every single second to see if they're working or not. There has to be a lot of trust in place. Also, you have to set the right procedures and processes in place to ensure that everyone is pulling their weight. The benefit of doing project management remotely is that you save a lot of cost because you don't have an office to maintain anymore and you have more flexible schedule. Perhaps you have a kid who is sick and you have to take them to the doctor. You can do so now without taking time off of work. You can make up for that lost time maybe later on throughout the evening. Like anything else in life, there are pros and there are cons to using remote project management. I'll highlight the pros first and then I'll highlight some of the cons. The pros of having a remote team could include flexibility, maybe increased productivity because people are no longer stuck in traffic and they have more time to work since they don't have to get into the office. It's also more cost effective and it gives you access to a global pool of talent and you're no longer limited to the talent pool in your local city where your office is located. There may also be increased job satisfaction and retention as well. The con of using remote project management team is that the communication is much more challenging when you're running a remote team. While office communication can be simple, you can just lean over and talk to someone. When you're working in a remote team, you may have to book a meeting with someone and then you communicate, and you don't get the benefit of osmotic communication. This is the communication of being in the same physical space so you can actually hear the conversation of two other people so you can benefit and know what's going on in the project just by hearing what other people are talking about. It may also be harder to schedule because when you have people in different time zones, it may be hard to coordinate a date and time whenever everyone is available to meet. Collaboration may also be challenging since you can't just put everyone into the same conference room and they can discuss and solve problems face to face. Also, progress may be slower if you don't have the right processes in place. There are clearly the pros and cons to using a remote team, but in the post COVID era that we now live in, remote teams are here to stay. Now, let me give you 8 tips on how to manage remote teams effectively. Number one, you want to set clear expectations. Set clear expectations for performance, communication, and project timelines. Number two is to schedule regular meetings. You don't want your team to schedule meetings with you only when there are problems. You want to be the one who is proactively reaching out to every single team member on regular basis to see what they're up to and to make sure that everyone is on the same page. If you're using the Scrum methodology to manage your project, then you have the daily stand up where everyone goes around and talks about what they did yesterday, what they're going to do today, and if they have any roadblocks in their way. This is a good way for the whole team to check in. But you don't just want to rely on the daily scrum. You also want to have one-on-one check-in with every one of your team member to discuss what they have done and if they have any issues that you can help them push forward with. Number three is to create established communication channels. Having meeting is good, but you also want to create open communication channels where any team members and stakeholders can come to you and be able to speak freely. You may want to give out your phone number to all of your team members and just create a culture where they can contact you for whatever reason. Next tip is encouraging independence. You're not managing remote team because you are a control freak. You want your team to be motivated to do their best work. Because you can't see them every single day, micromanaging is not going to work. Instead, look at their outputs. What have they accomplished every day? You can do this by looking at the paper trail. For example, if they were responsible for creating a report, you can see whether the latest report have been uploaded onto the shared drives. For developers, you can also see how much code they have written and if a specific functionality in your product is now working. It's more important to track people based on their outputs rather than seeing if they are at their desk at the appropriate times. When you're managing remote teams, that is just not going to work. You need to rely on your team members and have the people who are motivated in place to do their best work. You also want to fight the distraction monster. Everyone gets distracted very easily. Even at the office, studies show that the average worker gets distracted somewhere between 6 to 8 times every single day. And when you're working at home, the distraction machine is turned up even higher. You need to have a plan to help your team fight it and make sure that they are being productive even when they're working at home. Lastly, patience is a virtue. Now, you may need time to test out different project management softwares and processes on your project team before you get into a natural flow of things. So be patient with everyone on your team and allow processes to work themselves out naturally. Ask for help when you need it from maybe your project sponsor or the PMO in your company. And again, be patient with yourself and you should be okay. Some software that you can use to manage your remote teams can include Monday.com, ClickUp, Smartsheet, Miro, Google Docs, and Google Sheets, as well as Microsoft Project. A lot of times in this day and age, projects are being managed remotely, so there is a good variety of tools in place already to help you become successful. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I really enjoyed seeing you here. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks so much again, and I hope to see you soon.